The Adventures of William, Episode 5. The Call of the Millennial Jungle. Chapter 1. Morning in the Green Valley. The first rays of dawn in the Cretaceous period sliced through the giant fern canopies, leaving shimmering diamond-like streaks of light on the dew-drenched earth. The Green Valley awoke with its familiar symphony, the fluttering of giant pterodactyl wings high in the sky, the bubbling of streams rushing through rocky crevices, and the deep, rhythmic, thunderous snoring of Neo, the father dinosaur. In the corner of the cave, a small shadow was stirring. It was William. The young Tyrannosaurus Rex possessed a pale green hide with brilliant yellow stripes running down his spine. Unlike the inherent ferocity of his species, William had wide, round eyes that constantly sparkled with boundless curiosity about the world around him. William sneezed as a stray dewdrop landed right on his nose. He hopped up, tapping his short but sturdy tail against the ground to warm up. Today was an incredibly special day. Last night, his mother, Lisa, had promised that once the sun rose as high as the conifer trees, the whole family would venture deep into the dense western jungle to learn how to forage, a true survival lesson for a young dinosaur. Dad, wake up, the sun is already high. William chirped, his clear voice echoing through the stone cave. He ran over, nudging his round head against his father's pillar-like leg. Neo, a magnificent adult T-Rex bearing honorable battle scars across his back, lazily opened a single eye. He let out a low rumble from his throat, a deep vibration that made the small pebbles on the ground tremble. "William, my boy, how do you have so much energy this early?" Neo chuckled, his voice booming like rolling stones. He stretched, standing up as his massive frame towered over the space. From the cave entrance, Lisa, the gentle yet incredibly sharp mother dinosaur, stepped in. In her jaws, she carried a large palm frond piled high with juicy, bright red berries. She placed it down in front of William. "Eat up to fuel yourself, my love. We have a very long walk ahead of us today. The western jungle is nothing like our peaceful valley." William didn't need to be told twice. He dove into his breakfast, wagging his tail with pure excitement as he munched away. His mind was entirely filled with visions of mysterious ancient forests, strange creatures, and thrilling adventures. Chapter 2. Crossing the Valley's Threshold. Once ready, the T-Rex family of 3 began their trek. Leading the way was Father Neo, his majestic strides sinking deep into the earth and leaving small craters in his wake. Mother Lisa brought up the rear, her sharp gaze sweeping back and forth to monitor their surroundings and protect the family. William walked in the middle, though he rarely kept a straight line. One moment he veered left to chase an ancient dragonfly as large as a hand fan. The next, he dashed right to sniff a strange flower that smelled like honey. "William, stay close to your father and me," Lisa reminded him as she saw her son nearly tumble into a dense, thorny bush. "Yes, Mom, I know," William replied, but barely 3 seconds later, he was distracted again by a peculiar sound from the treetops. As they reached the edge of the Green Valley, a massive wall of dense vegetation loomed before them. It was the entrance to the Millennial Jungle. The trees here were colossal, their trunks so wide that not even 5 or 6 T-Rexes could hug around them, and their roots snaked above the ground like giant pythons. Sunlight struggled to pierce through the thick canopy, creating a dim, mysterious, and somewhat eerie atmosphere. Father Neo stopped at the boundary, turning his head to look at William with a serious expression. "William, listen to me carefully. Inside this jungle, you must use all of your senses. First is your nose. Sniff to know what is food and what is danger. Second are your ears. Listen to catch the faintest noises. And most importantly, do not wander off on your own. Is that clear?" William swallowed hard, his little head nodding vigorously. "Crystal clear, Dad." Despite a flicker of fear brought on by the forest's gloom, the spirit of adventure in the little dinosaur's veins burned hotter than ever. He let out a tiny, practiced, caw growl, trying to mimic his father's majesty, and stepped across the threshold into the ancient wild. Chapter 3. The First Lesson in Scent. The air in the jungle was damp, heavy with the smell of earth, decaying leaves, and the sweet aroma of ripening fruits. Father Neo led the family along a narrow trail, likely a path used by herbivorous dinosaurs heading to the river for water. Now, we will learn how to locate food, Neo said, lowering his massive head close to the ground and taking a deep breath. A true hunter doesn't look with his eyes first, he looks with his nose. Do you smell anything, William? William followed his father's lead. He pressed his green snout into the leaf litter and sniffed intently. I smell damp earth, moldy mushrooms, and achoo. William sneezed repeatedly, having inhaled a cloud of wild mushroom spores. Mother Lisa burst into laughter. She walked over, gently licking William's head to comfort him. Slow down, my boy. Focus on the unfamiliar scents, especially those that feel slightly pungent and warm. That is usually the smell of a living creature. Calming himself, William closed his eyes to let his other senses rest, focusing entirely on his nose. He breathed evenly. Suddenly, a very peculiar scent drifted by. It wasn't like plants or trees, it was somewhat sweet like milk, yet carried a faint, musky animal odor. Dad, I smell something very strange to our right, behind that large fern bush. William whispered, his eyes flying open in excitement. Neo and Lisa exchanged glances, their eyes filled with immense pride. Excellent job, son. You found your first trail. Now, let us approach silently, Neo signaled. The three stepped with extreme caution. For two massive T-Rexes like Neo and Lisa, moving without a sound was a true art form. They lifted their feet high and brought them down on the thick pads of their soles, ensuring not a single dry twig snapped. William did his best to copy them, stealing forward step by step, his tail tilted upward for balance. Peering through the ferns, a beautiful sight opened before them, a family of Triceratops, three-horned dinosaurs. A mother Triceratops was keeping watch while her three tiny, adorable babies munched on tender young shoots. The baby Triceratops had dark brown skin, and their small neck frills swayed to the rhythm of their chewing. That is a potential target, Neo whispered into William's ear. But today we are here to learn, not to hunt for a slaughter. Furthermore, that mother Triceratops has very sharp horns and a lethal charge. A wise hunter must know his limits and choose the right moment. William watched intently. He didn't feel the urge to eat the little ones, he just found them incredibly cute. However, the lesson on how to approach a target using scent was etched deeply into the young dinosaur's mind. Chapter 4: The Quagmire Incident. Leaving the three-horned family behind, they continued deeper into the wilderness. The deeper they went, the more fantastical the scenery became. Vines as thick as an adult's thigh draped from above, creating natural hammocks. Suddenly, a swarm of giant butterflies with bioluminescent neon blue wings erupted from a flower bush, swirling around William. Wow! So beautiful! William gasped. Forgetting his father's warning, he dashed after the beautiful butterflies. He leaped up, trying to touch them with his short forearms. The butterflies fluttered away, luring the little dinosaur away from the path and into a darker, overcast corridor. Wait for me! William called out to them, giggling as he ran. But then, the butterflies suddenly soared high into the sky, vanishing past the upper leaves. William stopped, disappointed. It was only then that he snapped out of it and looked around. Where was Father Neo? Where was Mother Lisa? Around him stood nothing but gray, gnarled trunks, and a ghostly fog was beginning to rise from the ground. Distant cries of ancient birds and beasts made the atmosphere spine-chilling. Dad! Mom! William called out, his voice starting to tremble. There was no answer, only the hollow echo of his own voice bouncing back from distant stone cliffs. Panicked, William turned around to run back the way he came. But in his blind fear, he didn't watch his step. Plop! One of William's hind legs stepped right into a patch of soft, mushy ground. He tried to pull his leg out, but the more force he applied, the deeper his leg was sucked down. Oh no! A quagmire! William screamed in terror. It was a sinkhole of quicksand mud, perfectly camouflaged under a layer of fallen leaves and green moss. The mud rapidly swallowed William up to his knees, then quickly rose to his belly. Utter terror consumed the young dinosaur. He thrashed wildly, clawing at the air desperately with his short arms, but his struggles only caused him to sink faster. "Dad, save me. William is over here." Tears streamed down William's mud-stained face. He felt as if the ground were a monster swallowing him alive. The mud had reached his chest, making it harder to breathe. He imagined being trapped here forever, never eating his mother's berries again, never hearing his father roar. Chapter 5. The Strength of Family. Meanwhile, not far away, Neo and Lisa were frantic with worry. They had realized William was gone the moment his scent abruptly changed direction. "His scent leads toward the Valley of Death." Lisa cried out in panic, her eyes filled with a mother's dread. "Let's go. He's in danger." Neo roared, furious at himself for letting his guard down, and bolted forward like an arrow. They crashed through the dense brush, ignoring the sharp branches scratching against their thick hides. Suddenly, Lisa's sharp ears caught a faint, desperate cry for help. "This way! Neo, this way!" When the T-Rex couple burst onto the edge of the quagmire, they froze at a horrifying sight. Only William's head and his two tiny front arms remained above the black mud. The boy was exhausted and on the verge of sinking completely. "William! Freeze! Do not move!" Father Neo bellowed. His powerful voice acted like an electric current through William's body, helping the little guy regain a sliver of composure. He stopped thrashing. Father Neo scanned the area instantly. The mud pit was too wide. If he stepped in, his colossal weight would cause him to sink instantly as well. Mother Lisa understood this immediately. "Neo, that dead conifer tree over there." Lisa pointed to a fallen, dried trunk nearby. Without wasting a single second, Neo rushed over and rammed his steel-hard skull into the base of the dead tree. The trunk toppled over, landing squarely across the mud pit, creating a natural bridge that reached right up to William. "William, grab the trunk. Use every ounce of your strength." Mother Lisa cheered him on. William saw the trunk right in front of his face. He dug his front claws tightly into the rough, flaky bark, straining his body to pull himself up. But the heavy mud held a tight grip on him. Neo didn't hesitate. He planted his massive hind legs firmly on the secure bank, stretched his long, muscular neck out as far as it could go, and clamped his jaws gently but firmly onto the scruff of William's neck, the thickest, toughest patch of skin, just the way dinosaur mothers carried their hatchlings. 3. Heave! Neo roared, utilizing every muscle in his neck and back to pull William upward. Lisa rushed over, wrapping her tail tightly around Neo's hind leg to act as an anchor, adding her weight to her husband's pull. With a massive escouche, William was yanked free from the greedy belly of the swamp. Neo swung him over and placed him safely onto the grassy bank. William lay there panting heavily, his entire body coated in a layer of black, foul-smelling mud. He trembled from both fear and cold. Mother Lisa immediately knelt beside him, using her warm body to cradle him and licking the mud away from his face. "It's all right, my sweet boy. Mom and Dad are here. You're safe." William burst into tears, burying himself deep in his mother's embrace. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I was wrong. I didn't listen. I was so scared." Father Neo walked over. He didn't scold William as the little dinosaur expected. He only let out a long sigh of relief, then gently nudged William with his massive head. "Son, this is your greatest lesson today. The jungle is beautiful, but it hides deadly traps. A great hunter must possess discipline." Chapter 6. An Unexpected Feast and Growing Up. Once William had recovered his spirits and the mud on his body had dried up, the family decided to find a water source to wash him clean. Neo led them to a wide, majestic river cutting through the heart of the jungle. The water was crystal clear, revealing schools of ancient silver-scaled fish swimming merrily. William splashed into the water, the cool sensation washing away all the exhaustion and lingering fear. He played happily, spraying water playfully at his parents. Neo and Lisa stepped into the river too, enjoying a rare moment of relaxation after a terrifying ordeal. Suddenly, from the opposite bank, an incredibly potent aroma drifted over. It wasn't the smell of the swamp, nor was it the scent of the triceratops. It was a sweet, delicate fragrance, as refreshing as morning dew blended with rich honey. William stopped playing, his nostrils flaring. "Dad, Mom, do you smell that?" Lisa smiled. "It seems your nose got even sharper after that mud bath. That is the scent of the millennial divine fruit." According to Lisa's stories, deep within the ancient jungle grew a single mythical tree that bore fruit only once every 10 years. Its fruits were as large as William's head, possessing a golden gold rind, filled inside with sweet nectar and nutrients that could make a young dinosaur's bones as strong as hornstone. This heavy scent meant the fruits had ripened and fallen. The family climbed out of the water and followed the scent. After weaving through dense thickets, they emerged into a sunlit clearing. At the center stood a colossus of a tree with deep purple leaves. Scattered beneath its base were 5 or 6 golden fruits glowing brilliantly under the sunlight. However, they weren't the only ones who had discovered this treasure. A pack of velociraptors, small but incredibly agile and cunning, were prowling around, trying to use their teeth to crack the hard rinds. The pack numbered about 10, growling and snapping at one another over the prize. Seeing the T-Rex family arrive, the raptor pack froze instantly. They trembled at the sight of the towering Neo and Lisa, backing away slowly, though their fierce, greedy eyes remained glued to the golden fruits. Father Neo took a single step forward. He did not attack. He knew the raptors were also just hungry and looking for food. Neo took a deep breath, his massive chest expanding, and unleashed a roar that shook the entire mountain forest. "Arwa!" The roar was so violent that leaves rained down from the trees, flocks of birds took flight in panic, and the very earth vibrated beneath their feet. It was the absolute declaration of sovereignty from the king of the jungle. Terrified, the raptors realized they stood no chance against the family of tyrants. They let out frightened chirps and squeaks, quickly darting into the underbrush and vanishing from sight. The clearing now belonged solely to William's family. Father Neo turned to look at William, tilting his chin toward the golden bounty. "Your turn, William. Use the skill of a T-Rex to open this feast." Chapter 7: The Journey Home and William's Dream. As the crescent moon began to rise over the mountain peaks, the T-Rex family started their trek back to the Green Valley. The jungle at night took on a different kind of beauty, shimmering with bioluminescent mushrooms and ancient fireflies as large as fists, drifting like moving stars. This time, William didn't wander off. He walked right beside Father Neo, his steps rhythmic and steady. He had grown a little after this trip, not just physically, but in his mind. He understood that freedom and adventure always came hand in hand with responsibility and caution. "Are you tired today, William?" Mother Lisa asked softly, her voice comforting in the night. "I am tired, but I'm so happy." William looked up at his mother, then at his father. "I learned how to sniff trails, how to walk quietly, and how to avoid the quagmire." Father Neo laughed, a deep, warm chuckle that echoed lightly. "Well done. You were braver than I thought, son. One day, you will be the true king of this jungle." William looked up at the star-studded sky peeking through the canopy. He silently promised himself to learn as much as he could from his parents. He didn't just want to be a fearsome hunter, he wanted to be a great explorer, the one who would uncover all the secrets of this vast, prehistoric world. By the time they stepped into the familiar stone cave of their home in the Green Valley, William was exhausted. He collapsed onto a bed of soft leaves, curling his body up. Mother Lisa covered him with a large palm leaf, gently kissing his forehead. Father Neo lay down by the cave entrance, guarding his family's sleep. In his dreams, William saw himself soaring through the clouds alongside the pterodactyls, racing the wind across endless plains, and beside him, always, were the towering, protective figures of Father Neo and Mother Lisa. Episode 5 of the adventure drew to a peaceful close, setting the stage for even more thrilling journeys in the days to come.
Goodbye, see you again.